This is One-on-One with Alex Kirsch, a podcast where I bring on one guest to talk about specific topics, whether they are political, social, economic, criminal, scientific, sports, or hell, even entertainment. All questions, well, there's no questions tonight given to anybody beforehand, but there will be no tricks. Everything here is hopefully, for tonight, going to be in good faith. Now, if this is your first time coming onto this platform, please feel free to hit like, share, subscribe, and also feel free to reach out to me on also my social media. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, or as it's now called X, and all my platforms are currently streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, and on the X platform. Now, in the event that you decide to join in here and if my screen freezes up, just know that that is because sometimes Starlink likes to work. That's like the best I can do at this point. I live out in the sticks, so Starlink is the best kind of internet I can get at this point. Sometimes the satellites are good, sometimes they're not. It happens, okay? So if my internet freezes up, just know I will be back. So basically, the whole point for tonight is I don't have one specific guest. I am going to be doing an open invite to inviting all those who are going to be voting for Donald Trump for the 2024 election. Now, you're going to be coming onto this platform and you're going to be defending your reasons for voting for Trump, okay? Only one person at a time will be able to come on. Any more than one person, it's going to become chaos, okay? Because I can't have like 5 or 6 people talking to me at once or more than one person talking to me at once, and I'm trying to answer one person at a time. I can't handle it, okay? It's just how I am, okay? So I'm going to have one person come on at a time, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. You can ask me questions, but I'm going to ask you, I'm the primary person asking you questions, okay? Now, I've issued a challenge to many on social media, whether it's Facebook, the X platform, or Discord. If you're voting for Trump, I want you to come on and I want you to explain why. The invite link is down below in Zoom. You just got to click on it, and then I'll see you over here in this white box, and then I'll bring you in one at a time, okay? Now, by coming onto this platform, you are going to accept the following. This is my platform, okay? And I'm going to dictate who comes on and who does not. If I think you are bad faith or you're just coming on just to tank my show, I'm not going to add you. I'm going to remove you from the queue, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I reserve the right to mute you, all right? Now, I'm not going to mute you if you're in the middle of making a point. I'm only going to mute if I'm in the middle of answering and you keep interrupting me, then I'm going to mute you. First, I'm going to ask you to please respect the fact that I'm speaking at the time. I'm going to let you get your point across. I make sure everybody that comes on my platform gets their point across, okay? So I'm asking you to afford me the same courtesy. But if you keep interrupting me, if I'm in the middle of saying something and you just cut me off, I'm just going to mute you then, okay? I'm going to give you fair warning each time, okay? Now, I expect pushback from my points of view, so you should expect some pushback as well. Let's try to limit the gish gallop, which means, for those not aware, gish gallop is basically where you try to overwhelm the whole entire conversation by saying 5, 6, 7, 8 different points of view at one point, okay? Let's try to limit it to one topic at a time, and we'll try to go through it one at a time, all right? I will try to limit to about 10 to 15 minutes per person. If it goes a little bit longer, it goes a little bit longer. So please be patient. If you're waiting patiently, please just understand that, if it's a good conversation, I want to keep it a good conversation. So let's try to keep it that way. Let's keep this within TOS. Let's not have any slurs on here, okay? I don't want my channel getting yeeted. I know I don't have a very big platform, but I don't want my platform getting yeeted for any reason whatsoever. Let's try to keep this as good faith as possible. Other than that, let's go ahead and get this party started. So, if you are voting for Donald Trump, once again, please feel free to hit the link down below in the description and say, yes, I want to challenge this guy, all right? And for the record, yes, I am voting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in this upcoming election. Yes, I know that there are some people say, oh, well, wait a second, Kamala Harris, she only had a very, very low percentage. She didn't do well when she ran for office in 2019. Yeah, I get that. Well, now she's got overwhelming support. There's people now that are turning up in droves for Kamala Harris. People are like, wait a second, why are we going to vote for Kamala Harris? Why should we vote for her? She doesn't have a proven record. Well, aside from the fact that, she was able to win her office as Attorney General, as District Attorney, she was able to win an election as a Senator. And yeah, I understand that she didn't do very well in the debates in 2019 and 2020. That'll happen. It happens. Not everybody's made to be a debater. I'm one of those people. Everybody knows that I'm not a very solid debater, but I'm still going to always give it a shot. I'm always willing to toss my hat in the ring for this matter. But I just don't understand how anybody can actually look at themselves like, yes, when I see Donald Trump, yes, that's my guy. I just don't know how anybody can actually say that. How anybody can just say, yes, Donald Trump is my guy. That's who I'm voting for in this upcoming election. Now, some people might have some legitimate concerns. They'll say things like, oh, well, the economy was better. Well, we're going to get into that. I'm not going to try to give away any talking points right now. I'm just going to let you express your talking points, and I'm not going to try to speak for you, essentially. A keyword, try not to, okay? Now, the only thing is like, if I ask you a question, maybe it's because I'm just trying to clarify, or maybe I just need to understand. But again, if you come on here and you try to give me your point of view, and if you say, well, this is why I'm voting for Donald Trump, I'll hear you out as best I can. And again, let's try to avoid all the gish galloping, because gish galloping tends to be a little bit obnoxious. I know everybody's guilty of doing it. Sometimes I'm guilty of doing it, which is why I'm trying to limit it like right about now. I don't want there to be that many gish galloping. So if you're tuning in right now, please go down to the description below. It should be in the description box, whether on YouTube, Twitch, or on the X platform, and just click on the Zoom link. It should be in there, and then you should populate over here on this little box. Yep, this little box over here. Sorry, I'm just a little bit discombobulated right now. Your name should populate over here, and again, I'm only going to bring in people one at a time. Again, if you populate in here, try to be in good faith and try to give me some legitimate reasons. If you're just coming on here just to tank my platform and just try to get me yeeted, then I'm just going to remove you, okay? Please don't bring any slurs in. Don't try to say anything like that. Don't try to be just coming in here just to sabotage my stream, okay? I get it. You know, my stream is not that big. I don't have a large audience. That's fine, okay? I'm still going to keep doing this. I enjoy doing stuff like this. I know I haven't done much content lately. There's been personal reasons for that. It happens. Life happens to all of us. So yeah, just feel free. If you're voting for Donald Trump, please feel free to go over here. God damn it. Feel free to go over here into this chat box, click on the link down below, and you'll populate over here, and then I will just bring you right on over, okay? It's that simple. So, hopefully everyone's enjoying their weekend so far. It's been kind of a busy weekend for me. Fall is coming, so it's starting to get a little bit chilly. That's why I've got this hoodie on in the event that I have to go back outside and stuff like that. So, but yeah. Hopefully everyone's already registered to vote. If you haven't checked to make sure you're registered to vote, be sure to get in contact with your Secretary of State. They will tell you whether you are still registered to vote or not, because there are some people that are actually being taken off the voter rolls. So I've already verified that I'm good to vote, and I'm going to be voting in person. Now, don't let people tell you, don't vote by absentee, don't vote by ballot, don't vote by mail. Don't listen to those people, okay? Because it's already been proven that voter fraud is statistically irrelevant. It is statistically irrelevant. It's already been stated multiple times, okay? No, voter fraud very, 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 very rarely happens, like if at all. Like even the Heritage Project, the conservative-based Heritage Project, even stated that there's been 1,500 proven cases of voter fraud. I mean, my God, I mean, you can't get any more clear than that. 1,500 is being generous too. So if you're actually going to sit here and tell me that voter fraud is provable, okay, fine. But how many provable cases of voter fraud are there? So, but don't let anybody intimidate you. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you know, just vote your heart and your conscience, even if you're voting Green Party, okay? I'm going to disagree with you, vote for Green Party, because as somebody that was a staunch independent for many years, you know, I was independent, like in, what was it? In 2008, I didn't vote because I was in Iraq at the time. And in 2012, I voted for Mitt Romney based upon the debates. You know, I thought about it thoroughly. At the time, I didn't think that Obama was the answer to like the solutions and whatnot. So after the debates, I said, I think I'm going to vote for Mitt Romney. So I voted for Mitt Romney at the time. In 2016, I voted for Gary Johnson. Yes, that's kind of a bizarre person to vote for, but I had no confidence really in Hillary Clinton, and I had no real confidence in Donald Trump. Do I regret my decision? No, of course not. I stand by my decision. In 2020, though, I definitely, without a doubt, voted for Joe Biden. Now, in 2020, the first candidate I ever contributed money to was Pete Buttigieg. Yes, the current Secretary of Transportation. Love Pete Buttigieg. I think Pete Buttigieg would make a fantastic president someday. I mean, the guy is articulate. He's able to argue points. He's bringing receipts. I mean, every single time they try to get him, like on Fox News, he's always able to answer questions in a very direct manner. He doesn't like try to skirt around the issues. He's always very, very direct. Now, I know a lot of people out there don't like Pete Buttigieg, okay? You may not like him because he's not qualified. But some people have other reasons for not liking him, and simply because of his sexual preference. You don't lie. That's why many people don't like him. They feel he is not qualified, essentially. But I can tell you this much. He definitely is qualified. I mean, he did great things for the town of South Bend, Indiana when he was the mayor. I mean, that's why he got elected multiple times, you know? Just a really solid guy. I think he would make a great president someday. It may not happen in the near future. There's no guarantees that he'll have a job on this administration. But I'd say that he's done a pretty phenomenal job. So if you're just now tuning in, if you want to be on this show and if you want to argue whether you're voting for Donald Trump or not, feel free to hit just jump down to the link, and then you'll populate over here into this box, and then I'll let you in. Once again, I'm only letting in people one at a time, okay? Just letting in people one at a time. So, yeah, if people are wondering, like, why is I'm voting for Kamala Harris, it's just because, you know, I don't expect her to be perfect because there's no such thing as a perfect candidate. But I also know that she's not going to expect me to, you know, choose between her and the Constitution of the United States. I know she's not expect me to choose between her and the country, because that's where you get dictators. Only a dictator would ask you or demand that you show them loyalty, which is something that Donald Trump has absolutely 100% done. Now, there's people out there probably in the chat that are saying, oh my God, this guy's got TDS. It's not so much TDS, it's just I am sick and tired of listening to this guy talk about how he is the answer to all of our problems. He isn't. Donald Trump is not the answer to all of our problems. He's actually created more problems, honestly. He actually 100% has created more problems. Now, there's a lot of people out there that I am very close friends with, okay? For the record, there are people that I know that are very near and dear to my heart, people that I've served with, people I've become close friends with. They are voting for Donald Trump. We're going to disagree politically. That's fine. I know deep down that they are good people, though. That they are really nice people. They are genuinely good, hardworking people. They have families that they are very concerned about, and I get that. But I just cannot for the life of me understand why you would vote for Donald Trump. I mean, you'll have people out there say, well, I like a man that is not corrupt. I like a president candidate that is not corrupt, that cannot be bought, that cannot be, that is very moral. But then when they tell me they're voting for Donald Trump, I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Why would you say that you just said that you were voting for somebody that is not corrupt when Donald Trump is one of the most corrupt people that's ever held office? I mean, the guy lied over 30,000 plus times while he was in office. Yes, he did, 100%. Like, it's not even close to comparable. Now, have all presidents lied? Absolutely. Every president has lied about something in some way, shape, or form. To say a president has never lied is just completely absurd. But it's just, when I look at somebody that's president of the United States, I don't want to, like, wake up in the morning, and the first thing I usually do is I go use the bathroom and I scroll through my phone, and when I go on social media, I don't want to see a president having a Twitter meltdown talking about how the world is unfair, how everybody is against him. He's fighting against the deep state, which is not a thing, really. I mean, people can say, oh my God, there's a shadow government. He's never announced who these people are. He just says, oh, there's a shadow government. The deep state's out to get me. Oh my God, they're out to get me. He just insists that everybody's out to get him, essentially. Now, I know some people say, well, wait a second, Alex. What about the attempts on his life? For the record, I denounce the attempts on his life, okay? Nobody should be doing that. But let's remember something. The people that went after and tried to kill him were Republicans, registered Republicans. Now, there's a lot more that we need to learn about these guys that went after him, and I hope they well, the first guy was shot dead, and the second guy, he's going to be found more than likely guilty by a jury of his peers. The third person wasn't even trying to make an attempt on Trump's life. That is also another lie, essentially. It was basically pushed far too soon without anybody verifying the information. Like people like Tommy Loren said it. There were people saying, oh my God, they tried again. So again, listen. I don't want that. I just want him to lose in November, okay? That's all I care about. Okay, if you're just now tuning in, check down the link below and you will find the link to pop in here. And then once again, you will pop into this box and I will bring you over one at a time and you'll have a chance to defend why you are voting for Donald Trump. That is the topic for tonight's discussion. Why you are voting for Donald Trump. So, anyways, time to take a drink. For those interested about what I'm drinking tonight, I am drinking Founders Oktoberfest German style Marzen. So it's actually really good. It's very, very tasty because it is October. Oktoberfest is going on right now. I never actually went to Oktoberfest. I went to a lot of Volksfest. Now those are a lot of fun, but Oktoberfest, it's just absolute chaos. And at the time when I was living in Germany, there was a severe threat. So they said, don't go down there. It's dangerous. So I opted not to go instead. So anyway, I'm just take a quick drink right quick. Go ahead, just pop in. You know, I'm just waiting for people to populate in here. And if you don't want to populate in here, hey, that's your decision as well. So anyway. So yeah, that's what we got going on right now. Just waiting on some people if they want to populate in. There's a couple people that say that they're definitely gonna be populating in. They're just waiting to get off of work. But I said I was gonna start at 7, so I started at 7. If you are voting for Donald Trump, feel free to populate in here. So a while back when Trump and Harris did their debate, I watched the debate live, or I listened to it live, and then I also did a follow up. And you can find that on my current events on tap in the playlist. And you'll find that I did a complete assessment of the entire debate. Now, there were some things I know I missed. Just happens. I didn't want it to be like a 6-hour video, whatnot. I wanted to just do a complete, thorough review of it. I wanted to give my point of view about it. And I just wonder why, people wonder, why is it that Donald Trump was the only person that was fact-checked? Well, the fact of the matter is because you only need to be fact-checked when you lie. And that guy lied his ass off, honestly. He lied about they're eating the dogs and the cats. Even the woman that initially made that story came out right and says, listen, I never thought it would get to this level. I retract my statement. But they doubled down upon it. Even J.D. Vance tried doubling down upon it, saying, oh, well, there's a reason as to why we brought that. There's a reason why we had this conversation. But the thing is, you could find other examples of those that might be in this country, whether it's legal or illegal, as you want to put it, that are committing crimes that they could definitely use, because God knows they love to capitalize on that. They love to promote the deaths of people killed by, migrants, whether they're legal or illegal status. They love to promote that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, why is it that you want to bring these topics up, right? Why is it that you want to just make up a story that's not based on any fact? Now, there's conservatives or people that lean right that said, this is insanity. Why would people say this story? But there are also those that just said, yes, this is absolutely happening. I've got stories about this. I heard about it. I got friends around that town. But there's no police reports based upon this. There has been no police reports. There's been no real fact-based evidence based upon these things. But people are still trying to double down. I've seen content creators go out there and say, yes, this has absolutely happened. I heard from my best friend's cousins, brothers, neighbors, cousins, roommate, and they saw this happening. Okay, where's the proof? Oh, well, I don't have any proof, but I know it's happening, okay? There's been a rampant case. Oh, well, you should look up the Haitian people. It's like, well, okay, what's that got to do with anything? A lot of them practice voodoo. The majority religion in Haiti, or people that happen to be Haitian, is Catholic. I mean, there's no other way to look at this. So why is it you have to lie about something? I'm sure you can find other cancels. You can find other stories that can actually solidify your case when it comes to like dealing with like situations like on the border or something like that. You could probably find cases like that. But the fact you have to make up these cases is completely absurd. But yeah, anyway, when I reviewed the debate, I tried my best to try to be as objective as possible, and I admit, even I know for a fact that Kamala Harris crushed him in that debate. It wasn't even close. And then when I watched the J.D. Vance, Tim Walz debate, Tim Walz admitted outright that he is not a good debater, okay? He said from the word go that he is not a good debater. He told that to Kamala Harris, and she still brought him in. And even though it's clear that he is not a good debater, he still did as good as he possibly could. He brought receipts. J.D. Vance brought nothing, okay? He brought nothing to the table. I mean, I will have to say this, though. That debate is exactly how they all need to be. Some people like the blood sports. Some people like the drama. Some people like to see the stuff like where people are like throwing ad hominems and just throwing slurs at one another. Sometimes that can be entertaining for about 5 or 10 minutes. But sometimes it's better to have like the substance behind an argument, essentially. Now, again, this is coming from somebody that has lost a lot of debates. I will admit this. This is true. I admit that. It's just because there are times where I get myself flustered or I get myself tied up in knots. It happens to all of us, okay? I'm not a good debater, really. It's that simple. But I'm still willing to come out here and still have a discussion or a debate with anybody about issues like these. So, if you're just now tuning in, once again, I'll keep saying this the more I see people start to populate in here. If you're just now tuning in, please feel free to hit the link down below if you want to be a part of this conversation. That is, if you're voting for Donald Trump, okay? If you're voting for Donald Trump, click on the Zoom link, and I'll see you populate over here in this box, and I'll bring you over. I'm only bringing in one person at a time. Only one person at a time. And make sure that you read the rules before you actually jump in there, because if you're just going to come in and try to sabotage the stream, then okay, I'm not going to entertain it. Okay, I'll give everybody a chance though, regardless of who you are. All right. So, kind of going back into it. So, the JD Vance and Tim Walz debate is exactly how all debates need to be: cordial, civil, and I like the fact that after the debate, they met in the middle, they shook hands, their wives came up, and they introduced each other's wives to one another. That's the way debates are supposed to be, not this nasty hostility bullshit. I mean, for some reason, people are just drawn to the controversy, but that's just because Americans, for some reason, we love controversy. We just love to see people just fight against one another for the most unnecessary things. I mean, that's why we watch so much damn reality television. And I'm not even talking about like Survivor. I'm talking about like 90 Day Fiance, which I'm guilty. I've watched 90 Day Fiance myself. People watch, my 600-pound life. People watch, Desperate, or not Desperate Housewives. What's it called? Mafia Bosses' Wives of New Jersey. I mean, people are just drawn to stuff like this. We love the controversy for some reason. And lots of people love Donald Trump because he's a controversial figure. You'll have people say, oh, well, I love what he says. He says exactly what I'm thinking. Well, what the fuck are you thinking exactly? I mean, every time I listen to Trump, it's just like, this is your guy, really? This is who you want to throw your vote behind? For what exactly? So this is why I actually want to do a stream like this. Now, whether people come in or not, that's entirely your decision. That's why I threw the gauntlet down. I posted it yesterday. That way, if people could see it, it gives them a chance to see it, and they can just throw their hat in the ring. So anyway, so if anybody wants to come in, now's your chance to do so. I know there's a lot of people that I see on Facebook, they talk a lot of shit. But, I'd love to see them come on and defend their points of view. Because, I could argue it on Facebook. I argue all the time on X with other people. But I still haven't heard a good reason. I really have not. I've seen some people make posts, and it's just like, no, that's not true. So maybe we'll see some people populating here, maybe not. It's entirely up to y'all. So as of right now, I got about 10 viewers right now. I got 5 right now on X. I don't know how many. I think I got about 5 in YouTube or Twitch right now. I can't just really check right now. So, but yeah, feel free to throw your hand down if you want to join part of this debate. So if I do a lot of uhs and ums, I'm sorry. It's just how I am. I'm trying to work on it though. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because when Kamala first said that she was going to throw in her candidacy for the president, I remember when we talked about when people said, oh my God, Biden's a cognitive decline. Jill Biden is evil because she's letting her husband just continue to slip further and further down the rabbit hole. My God, this is so horrible. He needs to drop out, but they're not going to bring Kamala in. Nobody likes Kamala. But then when he actually does drop out, which was a very selfless thing to do, and he endorsed Kamala, they're like, wait a second. Why are we bringing Kamala into this race? No. There needs to be a primary. Well, guess what? If the Democratic Party said, no, we don't want Kamala Harris, we would have made it known. But when she threw in her hat, everybody was on board with it. A lot of us in the Democratic Party were definitely on board with it. So, Glenn Lawrence, okay. So Glenn Lawrence wants to come in here. Okay, he's welcome to come in here. He'll be here in about 20 minutes or so. So Glenn Lawrence will be welcome to come on in. Come on in, sir. Not a problem. So anyway, there are people in here that wants to talk about like how, oh, well, she didn't go through the primary section. Okay, well, she still got the delegates. She still went to DNC. She still went to at the DNC and she accepted the nomination. And the people in the Democratic Party went absolutely ballistic. She's doing interviews. She's doing rallies. I mean, to me, rallies I'm not too concerned about rallies because, I don't know. Maybe because I just don't go to them or something like that. So, but long story short, I just think it's really, really important for us to focus on, like, what are the issues? What are the policies? But again, I'm just going to wait for people to kind of populate in here. So, but I already got one taker. He'll be coming on in about 20 minutes. So, Glenn Lawrence, him and I have talked before. So, we'll see how it goes. I expect it'll probably be good faith. So, anyway. Let's see. Yep. Again, if you're just now tuning in, this is one-on-one with Alex Kirsch, and this is just the main topic for tonight is why are you voting for Donald Trump? That's the main topic for tonight. That's the main reason why we're here. So I expect a good faith conversation. And again, if you're just here just to, just to troll, and if you're here just to, sabotage, Like, I want to have a good faith conversation with people because I feel like that's healthy. Because there's a guy, he's going to be populating here a little bit later on, Jake Varr, who runs Project VOPod. If you're conservative and if you want to see other people that have the same viewpoints, go to Jake Varr's pod. It's Project VOPod on YouTube. Him and I have had plenty of discussions. We don't agree on anything politically. You know, him and I definitely don't see eye to eye on a lot, but him and I have had a lot of good conversations. Why? Because we both have the same love for heavy metal music, and we both like to talk football. I know he's been kind of busy a little bit lately, but he's going to be populating here sometime later on. So, but yeah, just go ahead and head over to his YouTube channel and type in Project VOPod and hit like and subscribe to his channel. He usually has all kinds of people come on and he has different kinds of conversations. But again, him and I don't agree on hardly much anything, but you know, that's okay. I think it's healthy for us to have healthy discussions. So you and I will have that conversation, Glenn. I don't want to spoil the surprise just yet. So you and I will have that conversation. So, but the main comments discussion is like why you are voting for Donald Trump. But we'll definitely have the conversation once you pop in here, sir. Not a problem. Anyway. So, but I've seen some of Trump's interviews lately, and every time they ask him a question, he just doesn't seem to like have an answer for it. Like, he's been cutting a lot of his interviews really short lately. Like, apparently he was on Dan Bongino's podcast for about 15 minutes, and then he just cut it short, and Dan Bongino's like, he didn't really know what to make of that, essentially. He wasn't sure, okay, what just happened, essentially. There are times like where he comes in here, he talks about like Abraham Lincoln. It's like, why isn't Abraham Lincoln remembered as a great president? I'm like, there's sometimes I wonder, like, does Trump not understand history? Like, I remember there was one time where he talked about how, why is it my generals are not as loyal to me as Hitler's generals? I'm like, you do realize that Hitler's generals tried to kill him, actually. That's what the movie Valkyrie was about, actually, was like the assassination attempt on his life. So not a very good reference, honestly. Sometimes I just wonder if he's ever actually studied history, essentially. And I seriously doubt he has. But he insists he knows everything about everything. Like, you could ask him, can you tell me why the sky is blue? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know more about the weather than anybody else. I'm sorry, but if you insist that you know more about everything than anybody else, I'm going to look at you like you're crazy. Because here's the thing. There are some things that I know a great deal about, like infrastructure, I know a good deal about. Why? Because I don't really work in it, but I do deliver infrastructure products. I know a good deal about it, but I don't know everything about it. I served in the Army for 20 years. I don't know everything about the military. Okay, so I got Frank Tovey. This isn't politics anymore. Trump is like the Joker. He just wants to see them all burn. If he wins, then we can kiss it all goodbye. Not only in America, Project 25, but globally. Putin is watching. All right, Frank, that's a pretty interesting point. I'm going to try to not talk about Project 2025 because Donald Trump insists that he denounces it. I don't believe him because a lot of people that were in his administration, even his, even the guy that was like his personal assistant, John McEntee, helped write Project 2025. And John McEntee spent a great deal of time at Mar-a-Lago. He still spends a great deal of time at Mar-a-Lago. So I'm pretty sure they've had this conversation, but it's just because some of these points of view in Project 2025 are so fucking bizarre. It's like, really? Why would anybody agree to something like this? Like, this is not good for America. None of this is good. But it's just Donald Trump's policies on its own are crazy enough as is. Like, add Project 2025, it's just like, what the fuck is this? So, but no, like some of this point of view is like, for example, like we'll get into tariffs. I'm sure we'll talk about tariffs and stuff like that. But he talks about like how tariffs are going to help the economy. His tariffs alone. Now I'll talk about tariffs real quick. Trump's tariffs alone hurt American farmers. They really, really did. Like it's not even remotely close. Like they actually hurt American farmers. There had to be a $35 billion bailout to American farmers because of soybeans, essentially. Tariffs, essentially, like in a nutshell, like even I don't know everything about tariffs, but even with tariffs, right? When there is a, like for example, when China imports a product, let's say for example, they're importing shoes, right? And we put a tariff on those shoes, the price of those shoes is going to increase, essentially, because it's coming into our ports and it's going to be sold in our stores. That's what basically tariffs are supposed to do. Now, there are some targeted tariffs that the Biden-Harris administration did hold on to. Now, which ones they held on to, I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look it up real quick. But the fact of the matter is like he's talking about putting a tax on a tariff on everything, and I've heard him talk about, oh, well, we're just going to put like a flat tax. A flat tax actually doesn't help the economy either. Now, I've heard people say the argument, oh, well, if we just put everybody has the same flat tax, it'll balance everything out. Not necessarily. Because, like, for example, I make, over $100,000 because of my disability, my benefits, and my job right now, right? I work as a truck driver. And if the amount of taxes I pay, if it was like leveled out to a certain percentage, there are some people that make way less than I do, and it's not because that they're lazy or they just can't have the same economic opportunities. It's just because there aren't as many job openings in some places they might have to pay. And then whatever their income's going to be, that could just drastically impact how much they have to pay. But to like somebody at the top 1%, like 10%, like if you put like a 10% flat tax, that's nothing compared to some of these guys. I mean, there was a point in history where the top 1% were taxed heavily. But you know what that did? That got paid back into the economy. It got paid back into the United States. And then that's basically how we were able to build our infrastructure. I mean, the infrastructure bill from 2021 is the most extensive infrastructure bill since Eisenhower. Now, Eisenhower was very forward thinking. Now, he used the inspiration as far as the interstate highways. He got that inspiration from the Germans, actually, because they built the Autobahn. And the reason why was because in the event that should America ever get invaded, he wants the U.S. military to be able to move from one side of the country to the next quickly. Now, will that happen? Highly doubtful. However, it's still very forward thinking. Now, the reason people may wonder, okay, so why is that such a big deal? It's because you'll see a lot of semis going up and down the main interstate highways. That's because it's easy to get, like for I-40, I-40 is a great example, right? I remember one time when I worked for one of my trucking companies, myself and my co-driver, we picked up a load from, Fontana, California, I want to say, and we had to deliver all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina. And it took us, let me see, hold on a second. I'm just trying to figure the distance right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, from here to from Fontana, California, all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina. And we had to be there like in about 4 or 5 days. We did it in about 3 days, essentially. Now, it was like primarily like drop and hook. Drop and hook basically means you get to the terminal, you check it in, and you just find a location. You just drop it, and then you just grab another trailer, and then you just kind of move out. But it's because we were working in teams, we could basically rotate between the two of us. And I promise, this is all kind of tied together why infrastructure is so important. We were able to go from one side of the country in about 3.5 days, just straight driving the whole time, and we were able to get there. Just think about if we didn't have the interstate highway system. Now, think about the fact that we don't have maintained roads. It's so important that we have maintained roads. It's so important that we have maintained bridges. This is why this infrastructure bill was so important. And, there's like, 60,000 projects going on right now thanks to the infrastructure bill. So that's basically how it is. This is why infrastructure is really, really important, because if we don't have good, solid infrastructure, if we don't have projects underway, it's going to fall to the wayside. Like, for crying out loud, there are bridges right now in this country that haven't been updated in decades. We've got to do better about this because, roads wear down over time. Bridges wear down over time. We have to do better as far as maintaining this, because if we don't, there's always that risk. Like, I remember like the bridge that connects Kentucky and Ohio that goes into Cincinnati. I can't remember the name of the bridge at the top of my head. Sorry, it's just like I'm just kind of catching myself right now. But if that bridge got shut down for a little bit because they had to make sure that it was very well maintained, because I've gone over that bridge. If that bridge was to collapse, that would be a huge detriment to the American economy. Why? Because so much traffic goes through there. Billions upon billions of tons of material and whether it's infrastructure material or produce and whatnot goes over that bridge, every week. I mean, maybe even daily. Millions of tons of this stuff goes across there every single day, for crying out loud. And it's really, really essential that to make sure that it stays maintained, to make sure, and what all ties into this, you have to make sure that you have the people, the contractors, the people that work in construction are well taken care of, because you want to make sure that, they're using the best material, the best steel, they got the right kind of benefits, because it's dangerous work. It really is. I mean, that's why also, like, when it comes to infrastructure, I feel like taking care of the railroad workers. Now, I worked in, when I did trucking for another company, I went into the rail yards a lot. And you have to make sure that you take care of the rail workers. And now, when the rail yard workers strike took place, I think it was late 2022, early 2023, I want to say. I'm kind of getting my years mixed up, but it is what it is. But anyway, when that took on, the reason why they were protesting is because they wanted to make sure that they had, because at one point, their healthcare system, like for example, their days that they could take for sick leave, it counted against them. It was like a tally system. Like for example, you had this many days, if it took this many days, regardless whether it was sick, whether you're just like, you know, you just need a day off, you need a mental health day or something like that, it gets deducted essentially. Once you reach that, you go on a suspension period, and then you would actually then have like another, then you would start over, but you would have a decreased limit. And it was really unfair because a lot of unforeseen circumstances happen. For example, people get sick, you know, people get the flu, people get a stomach ache. It happens. Life happens all the time. But some companies just didn't care. It's just like, well, doesn't matter. I mean, family emergencies happen all the time. You can't really predict this stuff. So to say, oh, well, people can't be doing stuff like this, well, that's not fair to say because people do experience this. I mean, it's just life. It happens all the time. And you have to guarantee that if you don't take care of the people that work for you, then why should people work for you, essentially? I mean, I'm a firm believer in stuff like this. But, you know, I know it's kind of a bit of a ramble, but I'm just kind of eat up time right now until Mr. Lawrence jumps in with here with us. So time for another drink. So, all right. So if you're just now tuning in, feel free to drop down below in the description box, whether you're on X, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on YouTube, and you'll just click on the link in the description below. Please be sure to read the rules for when you come in. I'm going to be as fair as possible. I will be fair. I'm going to let you get your point across, okay? I can assure you, I'm going to let you get your point across. But you'll click on the link, and you'll just be able to jump right in. And just, again, let's try to avoid gish galloping. Let's just talk about the facts. Let's just talk about, like, policies and whatnot. And let's just try to keep it like that. So I'll be good faith as long as everybody else is good faith. And as soon as you click on the link and, you know, you'll populate over in this box, and I'll accept you in. And again, I'm only bringing in, like, one person at a time. That's it. Only one person at a time, just to keep it simple. So Anyway, hopefully everyone's enjoying their weekend. It's gonna start getting cold soon. I mean, I live up north, so I accept this thing. Sometimes I do miss Georgia, but I don't miss the Georgia heat, so. Yep. Yep. And again, for those that are watching right now, in the event that my internet freezes up, it's because Starlink has a tendency to just, like, you know, disconnect and just reconnect. It happens. It's not because I'm bailing. I'm going to kind of keep this stream open until like about 9 o'clock, because then I'm going to get ready for bed at that point. Or, you know, I'm just going to end the stream because I don't want it to go on for too long. But I'm going to go till about 9 o'clock. So that's just letting you all know ahead of time. 9:15 at the absolute latest, though. But if you want to just like jump in, you know where to find it. The link in the bottom portion. As of right now, we've got Mr. Glenn Lawrence, who's going to be coming in. And then I know Jake Vars also going to be coming in. But people are invited. If you want to come in and share your points of view, you're welcome to do so. All right. Hopefully everyone's been watching some good college football today. Yesterday, my Oregon Ducks played, and they whipped the tar out of Purdue. That was pretty awesome. Michigan lost today. Well, it's okay, because like the funny part is, like, I moved to Michigan. Yes, I know I'm doxing myself essentially, but people know where I live. But people asked me when I first moved up here, hey, who are you gonna cheer for, Michigan or Michigan State? And I was like, I haven't quite decided yet. You know, I don't know who I'm gonna vote for, so or who I'm gonna cheer for. But ever since I found out Oregon was coming to the Big Ten, I was like, looks like I don't have to change my mind. I'm gonna keep voting. I'm gonna keep cheering for Oregon, essentially. So who else is playing today? Colorado played today as well. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the topic of discussion for people that are tuning in. Yeah, somebody just asked me, what's the topic? Well, the topic is in the description right now. Who are you voting for, Trump or Harris? Okay, but the name and topic is so. Holy shit, that's a name I haven't seen in a long time. Good friend of mine from back in the day. Hey, Tyson, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you, man. Jeez, I haven't talked to you in like, what's been like, like 10 years or some shit like that? Holy crap. That's insane. So. All right. Wow, Colorado whooped the tar out of Arizona. It was a close one last time they played last year. So, yep. Good to see it, Tyson. Yeah, I really hope you're doing well. Like, Tyson and I go way, way back. I mean, we've been friends for, for years. Crazy. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've sent out feelers to other people. Like, I'm interested in hearing why some people are voting for Donald Trump, right? I am actually very, very well intrigued as to why people are voting. So, some people have reasons, some people don't. Some people want to vote for Donald Trump because of, like, some of them just want to own the libs. I don't know. Some people like to just own the libs, I guess. But, you know, I guess that's a reason, I suppose. So, oh man. Anyway. And if people wonder if I'm sick, nope, I've just got asthma. The asthma is as a result of like burn pits from Iraq and Afghanistan. So if I'm popping in cough drops, it's because it's the only way I can really suppress it. I had an inhaler. I just can't seem to find the damn thing. I'll find it around here somewheres. It's around here somewhere, I'm sure. So, yeah. So, yep. Hey, if people are interested, yep. Somebody asked, hey, can I come in? Just, yeah, feel free to jump on in if you're up for it. I'm willing to bring on anybody and everybody. Just once again, the only thing I ask is don't come on here just to try to sabotage the stream itself. I just want this to be a conversation because I feel it's healthy to have conversation, even if we disagree politically. It's healthy to have conversation because, you know, and like I said, I have a lot of friends of mine, people that I've served with, people that I've known all my life that are voting for Trump. They're good people. They are honest people. Like, but I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand their point of view. I don't understand what's leading them to like want to fight, not fight, to vote for Trump essentially. So, but yeah, I'm willing to have a conversation with people. I mean, I have arguments all the time on social media. I know it's probably a lost cause to like argue with some people, but it's just just how I am. I just like to see other people's points of view, but I'm trying to be as like legitimate and be as sincere as possible as to why people would vote for him. So. But as of right now, we've got Mr. Glenn Glorious will be coming in, and once he populates, I'm gonna bring him on in, and then we're gonna have a discussion about it. So he's already asked me like why I'm not gonna vote for Trump, so I got lots of reasons for that. But first, I'm gonna find out why he's voting for Trump because you know I want to get his point of view about it. So if you do come in here, again, let's try to avoid gish galloping. I just try to keep it to like well this reason, and then this reason, and this reason, and then we're just gonna kind of take it from there, okay? So that's kind of the way I kind of want to run it. If you start gish galloping, I'm gonna forget half the time because I try to listen to what somebody says, because if I'm not totally listening and engaged, then I'm gonna miss something. I'm like, hey, can you say that again? So I want to listen to what you have to say, and then we'll go from there.